fire. She's 2 for 2.
Coaches and wrestling coaches are going to be looking at Brian.
It's a no-hitter for Andrew Visconti.
We welcome you into Dwyer Field for some Week 8 GMC matchup between your Mason Comets and the Middletown Middies. We are proudly sponsored by Reach Cabinets and Remodeling, your hometown experts in turning visions into reality. My name is Isaac Vargo, alongside my broadcast partner Daniel Panetti. And Daniel, last game the Comets lost the game against Fairfield. They lost by 1, and it was a really close game, but they just lost it in overtime.
Yeah, it was a rough one for the Comets, and it all started from losing your starting quarterback, D'Angelo Birch. But it's a nice atmosphere tonight, Isaac. It's youth night, one of the most look forward to nights of all of Mason youth football. They all get to sit on the sideline, and it's a great rivalry game. It's the Middletown Middies and the Mason Comets. This is something that over the past couple of years has been such a key part of the Comet season. 2 straight comebacks on each other's respective homecoming nights over the past 2 years. It's been a long stretch of winning for the Comets. They've won the last 12 of these meetings, dating all the way back to around 2011. So the Comets, they have a big win streak to go back on. It's sure to be a fun one.
Yeah, to win this game today, they're definitely going to need the starting quarterback today, and Alex Noggle. Last game, he didn't get the start, but he got to play in the second quarter when D'Angelo Birch went down with the injury. And, man, did he show out. He didn't get in the end zone the last play of the game, but, man, he proved to these Comet fans that without their best player in D'Angelo Birch, they can still be afloat. And, man, he can run the ball, he can throw the ball, but overall, just a guy that's poised under pressure, a guy that you can trust in. And we'll have to see what he can show today in his first start of his high school career.
Yeah, it's going to be a big test for Alex and see what he's going to do against a Middletown team that is, huge coming into this game. And on the defensive side, Jake Kelling has been coming alongside into his own over the past couple of weeks. Another sophomore alongside Alex, and he's been having a great time. He's a ball hawk, as you can see on the graphic. He's one of the top guys on this defense. In the secondary, him and Emerson Bikey have played some very crucial roles for this Comet team. The Comets, they're going to need Jake and this whole defensive back units to really show out today.
Yeah, Jake Killen, of course, and then Alex Brown, the captain, the guy you've probably heard of many times going into this game. It's going to be a big game for him. Obviously, on the other side, Joseph Ward is the guy to look for in Middletown. You'd think Alex Brown is going to have to be the guy for the spy on Joseph Ward. And you look at Alex Brown, he's actually done a good job on both sides of the ball this year. He's been that kind of tight end that the Comets have needed this year. He's a great blocker, and he's a game wrecker. He can really wrap him up and make good plays.
Absolutely. He's a senior captain for a reason. The coaches have all the trust in the world in number 1 out there at the linebacker spot. A guy who's been on varsity for the last couple of years. As you can see, the Comets coming out of the tunnel right now. But Alex Brown, how good of a player he's been over the past 3 seasons. And you're at a point in the season where you need your stars to play perfect. You need Alex Noggle to play perfect. You need Brandon Birdsong to play perfect. You absolutely need Alex Brown, your starting linebacker, to play perfect in a game like this, where this is a game that's going to have a lot of implications, not only on the GMC side, mainly for Middletown, but we're getting the playoff season, Isaac. This is a time where, the home playoffs are starting to become a thing to worry about. Week 1 of the playoffs likely to be on Halloween. I think the Comets are going to be wanting to be on their home turf, and it starts with getting a win here tonight.
Yeah, and when you talk about early in this Comets schedule, they're 3-4 overall, 6th in GMC. But if you can get a win today, you have Coleraine next week, and then you have Sycamore the week after that, the 2 most weak teams in the GMC. So you'd think you can get 2 wins there. Middletown has had a phenomenal season this year, 5-1 in the GMC, just behind Princeton. They're 6-1 overall. But today the story is, how can the Comets get back in the win column? Coach Castor, the coach for this Comet team, looking for his 100th career win, and it's going to have to be a tough one because Middletown, they're trying to get their hometown crowd in this game when you talk about implications for playoffs.
Yeah, and you talk about this Middletown team and the fight that they have against the Comets. Well, the last 2 years it's been the Comets kind of stunning them. It's been 2 years of last-second touchdowns for the Comets. 2 years ago, it was here at Dwyer Field. It was the Mason homecoming night. It was Temi Adesanya punching it in for 5 yards with 38 seconds left to go, giving the Comets a 17-14 win. Last year, it was at Middletown. It was me and Trevor Rose on the call for that one, with Ethan Jordan punching it in with 7 seconds left to stun the Middies on their homecoming night. So this is a Middletown team we mentioned, the win streak that the Comets have been on in a game like this. They're coming in hot. They're coming in with fire, and especially because it's them and Princeton right now in the GMC. Princeton undefeated, Middletown only one loss. That came to Lakota West 27-13 a couple weeks ago. So Middletown, they're still fighting for that top spot of the conference, and it starts with getting a win here today at Mason.
Yeah, and you got to think Middletown in the back of their head. They got to know this is going to be a tough game on the road. Mason obviously has the biggest school in Ohio, and they're going to have one of the biggest student sections in Ohio. And it's pink night tonight. Obviously, we mentioned before it's youth night, so it's a big game for this Comet team. But Middletown, you'd see the backup quarterback for Alex Noggle in this game. They might early in this game try and play the Comets a little soft. The Comets have played not very good in the first half in these games, but the Comets have won the toss, and they elect to defer to the second half. Middletown will start with the ball.
And Isaac, a fun thing to kind of point out about the coin toss, from what we've been told from some guys on the team, this was the first coin toss this year that they've won. They said Alex Brown has not been the best at deciding heads or tails, but today the Comets, they're able to win it, and you get that defer. You're able to put your defense on the field first. You're putting yourself in a good spot. If you're able to take down, and we'll talk about when he comes out, Joseph Ward, number 6, the quarterback, he's going to be the big guy. He's almost kind of like a D'Lo Birch for the Middletown Middies. He can run, he can throw, he can do it all. So the Comets, this defense, they've been coming together over the past couple of weeks. Big John Hendricks, Juan Bates, they've been playing huge over the past few weeks. They're going to have a big test.
Jordan Van and Elijah Sutton back to return. Game time just at 7 o'clock. As the Comets try and get back in the win column, Max Gogol kicks it away. As return, it will be Jordan Van. Van to the left side, has blockers, but will be at about the 25-yard line. We've mentioned it multiple times today, but the star player and the X factor for this Middletown Middies offense, it's going to be the guy under center, Joseph Ward.
Yeah, Joseph Ward coming into today, almost 800 yards through the air, 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And like I was mentioning, Isaac, he can run the ball too. 322 yards, but he's thrown a pick in each of the last 2 games for this Middletown team. So that ball security, it can be a little bit of an issue. Last week he was 6 for 13, 75 yards. Obviously, he had the interception, but you got to talk about the running back, too, Demetrian James. He's been having a big year, had a 64-yard touchdown last week. The Comets, they got to keep that run game in check.
It will be Demetrian James in the backfield with Ward. He'll get the first carry, and it will be Comets all over it. It will be about a gain of 1 or 2. In there is Alex Brown.
Yeah, Alex Brown, we talked about him in the pregame. He's a guy who you're going to have him playing his best if you're going to be coming out on top. This is a Middletown team that can score. They're right behind Princeton, second in the GMC. They're averaging about 27.7 a game. So, this is a team that's used to the end zone. They know what that 10 yards of paradise feels like. You got to keep him out.
As Ward will look to pass for the first time today, he'll unload deep. Has a man, but just over the top. Wow, the Comets got beat over top. And lucky that it didn't come back to bite him. On the target was Julian Reed, the junior.
Yeah, and they're going to be trying to go for those long shots. The Middies, they're missing their best receiver statistically in Ace Cooper, a guy who was big in the early year but hasn't been able to play the last couple of games. So you got a 3rd down and 8. If you're able to hold this Middletown team to a 3-and-out on their first drive, you find yourself in a good spot.
Looking back to pass. The Comets are there, and it's a sack. Alex Brown. It's a 3-and-out for Middletown and the Comets with a dream start.
Absolutely. Would you believe me if I told you that's Alex Brown's? That's his only his second sack of the year? I mean, this is a guy who's flying around on the ball. Second in the GMC with 73 total tackles. He already has 2 today, including that sack. And, the secondary, give it to them. They didn't let anybody come open first. And Alex Brown, who we talked about could potentially be a spy for this Comet team today. with how quick he is to the ball. Makes a great play there.
Back to return is Jake Kelling. It's over his head, and it's a good punt there from Middletown. Kelling will pick it up, and will have nowhere to go. So the Comets get a 3-and-out. We'll have the ball at about the 25-yard line, and that is where Alex Noggle will construct this offense for the first time.
Absolutely. The first start of the year for Alex Noggle is going into this year, it was all D-Lo, and injuries are going to happen, and that's where you get your sophomore guy who has a similar play style to D'Angelo Birch from what we've seen. The Comets, they were using him in the running back spot starting at that Hamilton game. They put him in there, got some carries for those 3 weeks, but once D'Lo went down, it's been Alex's offense, so we'll see what Noggle, the sophomore, can do.
Hubbard at the bottom of your screen didn't get a lot of playing time last week. It'll be Wiggins on the outside. Wiggins has a lot of speed, and we've seen a lot of times from this offensive coordinator and Coach Datillo, he likes that play a lot early in the game with Wiggins.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot over the past couple of weeks. We saw it big versus East. We saw it big in a couple of games recently. That jet sweep is what Torian, some of his best work can come from. Guy who's had 12 rushes going into this year. He found the end zone on that exact play versus Oak Hills, Week 4. Isaac, you and I were calling that game. Torian is a guy, you can get him into the open field on the outside. It's good.
As Noggle looking to run here, it'll be about a gain of 1 after a 8-yard gain on first down. The Comets just 1, and it'll be a 3rd and short here, just under 10 minutes in this first quarter. As the Comets hurry to the line, Alex Brown in the backfield. We've seen Birdsong actually as a wideout, and Noggle will take it himself. As we've seen, Noggle gets there for the first down. A lot more runs you'll see from Alex Noggle. Averages 4 per carry. He gets it done for the first down.
Yeah, Noggle ran the ball 25 times last week. I expect that number to be replicated tonight. The Comets, they're coming in. They're second behind Princeton rushing offense, averaging 160 on the ground. That's where their mojo kind of comes from.
Middletown stacks the block. It'll be the same play call. It'll be Wiggins up the middle again. And a big play of Torian Wiggins trying to get going here in Week 8. He gets another first down. Comets are in Middletown territory, hurrying up to the line.
Torian's not a big guy, only 5'7". He was getting a push there.
Same play, Torian Wiggins to the left side, and how many times will we see it? 3 out of the 4 first plays go to Torian Wiggins in the exact same play call, this time only going for 2.
But I'll tell you what, I think what Coach Kastner and Coach Antilla are thinking, you keep running that, you're going to set up a beautiful play-action ball. You fake it to Torian, Noggle rolls out right, and you got a couple guys out there. Chris Hubbard back in the lineup.
Comets have been tempo. It's a high snap. Noggle can't get it. He'll roll out to the right. And he won't throw it away. Instead, he will take a massive gain. Middletown with a must-needed big stop, and it's about a loss of 20 for the Comets.
I mean, you can't have that. And you look at the center, Joey Oscar. I mean, this is a size difference. You're going from D'Angelo Birch, 6'2", Alex Noggle, 5'9". So, Oscar, he's used to putting it up a little bit higher to reach Birch's hands, but you have those couple of inches of a difference. That's gonna happen, and that's why Joey Oscar, he's a 3-4 year starter.
This will be about a 3rd and 21 here at the 40-yard line. It'll be Noggle by himself, and he'll just get about 1. So the snap comes back and bites the Comets' momentum of this drive, and Comets stall out. We have 4th and 20, 8 minutes in this first quarter. Out for the punt, something to mention, D'Angelo Birch was the punter for the first 7 weeks. Orion Bentley got a couple of reps last week, but it's his first time doing the duties for the punt job.
Yeah, and Bentley, just a freshman. You look at that frame, 6'2", 187. Man, that's a big guy back there.
As this one's a good one. We'll take a Comet bounce, and Middletown will try and pick it up. Can the Comets get under it? And Middletown gets a break. Very, very questionable decision to get even near the ball, but touch it at the last second. And Middletown does retain possession, so the Comets with a great job on the first time defensive-wise. It was all Alex Brown. We'll see what Middletown cooks up here in drive number 2 with under 8 minutes.
Yeah, and going back to the punt, the Comets have a pretty good punt team. We saw in Week 1 versus Springboro, Alex Silly recovered a fumble, so this is a special teams unit that they know what they're doing.
As Ward is a senior. He didn't get a lot of playing time in the first couple of years. A transfer from Withrow, and that's going to be an early jump there from the middies, and that's going to get them backwards to start this drive. It's going to be Riley Fletcher, the junior, on that right side. Went way early.
Yeah, and you'll take that free yardage any way you can. Back them up a little bit. Force them to throw the ball. I mean, this is a team that's 6th in the GMC, 155 yards through the air a game.
It's going to be a keeper from Ward, and Ward has room to the outside. He's still trucking to about the 32-yard line. It's going to be a good carry there on first down, to make it a 2nd and short. Blown up in the backfield again. Alex Brown all over it.
Yeah, and that's that dual threat ability we've been talking about. Middletown, they love mixing up those run passes, and they love running those options that we've already seen early, getting them a nice gain. We saw, looked like Drake Johnson, 44, there on the right side, or the side closest to your screen. He was meeting the running back there in case they kept it. This is the first time we've seen Johnson this year.
Some motioning over. Be Will Gibson, who looked to throw, and it'll be Gibson's way. Snags, and it'll be a Middletown first down.
Yeah, Josiah Killens there in on the tackle. You can allow those receptions, but as long as you keep them minimal, you don't let them test anything deep. We saw on the first throw of the game, Middletown had tried to launch it over the secondary, over the safeties. So
yeah, the Comets already gotten beat over the top. It was Davin Mesway on the outside that got beat. Try and keep everything in front of him. It'll be a fake. It'll be Ward trying to find blockers, but the Comets are all over it.
Big Brian O there on the tackle, and it's a nice job from the other guys. Dave Hutton was there on the side, that side as well. That forced Joseph Ward to kind of hesitate, not run straight through a hole, because Hutton was right there, and that forces, like we say Big John Hendricks, but we say Big Brian O as well.
I think they're all pretty big in that D line.
Oh, you got Brian.
One of the biggest we've seen in the GMC.
You got Brian, you got Hendricks, you got Juan Bates over there.
No AJ Kaler tonight, so Drake Johnson's already had a good play in that fourth of the guys up front. Ward will look to pass. Will throw underneath. He'll have a big gain out to about close to the 50-yard line. That will be James. Running back hasn't really had much success in the running game so far, but gets involved in the passing game. 5:30 left in this first quarter. It'll be a 3rd down and short. Third down and 2. Comets trying to get off the field. Middletown at their own 46. As it'll be James to the outside, and he has plenty enough for the first down.
Yeah, James shot out of a cannon there on that, going to that left side. Hutton does a nice job. He didn't fully bring him down, but he trips him up just enough to where he doesn't hit that outside. James had a unique touchdown versus Lakota East last week. He had a 64-yarder, his longest of the season, but he got wrapped down, and everyone kind of stopped because they thought the play was dead. His knee didn't touch the ground, so he kind of spun right back through that tackle and took it the rest of the distance. A guy with a lot of explosiveness. Top 5 in the GMC in rushing yards.
Be a bunch look at the bottom of the screen. Looking to throw his Ward, and he'll have a man open the middle of the field. It'll be Xavion Needham, a senior, 6'2", with a good frame in that slot position. Exploits the Comets defense, and best looking drive here in the second one for Middletown. They're in Comet territory at about the Comet 35.
Yeah, that's Needham's second reception of the season, if you can believe it. He had 1 reception for 25 yards versus Sycamore. And you look at that frame, 6'2", 170. I mean, that's a guy you could probably see go up there.
As motioning over, almost lost the snap. Big play here from Middletown, looking to the right side. Has blockers in front. The Comets take him down, and they will at about the 1 yard line. And Julius Reed again, he beat him over the top. in the first drive. Didn't get it there, but big play there from the senior.
Yeah, Reed
Or
last
the
week.
junior.
Reed last week at 53 yards versus East, that 27-6 win, and right there you see it, that yards after catch ability from Reed. He was able to take it. Only a junior sitting there at 5'10", 170. But now here's a chance for Middletown. Unique, they're putting out a 4-wide look.
As Ward takes it up the middle, and he'll have no problem getting in the end zone. Middletown starts on the board 6-0 here at Dwyer Field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good offensive drive. I mean, a lot of defenses in the GMC, they're not going to stop when you're stop a team when they're producing like that. You had some nice runs, you had some nice throws, and you can't let that get in your mind too much if you're Mason. You bring the offense back out, you tie this thing up.
So the extra point is good. Comets go down 7-0. 3:30 left in this first quarter. But yeah, it's those big plays that we talk about all the time. The Comets have done a good job in the last couple of games. Obviously, only giving up 14 points to Fairfield last week. It wasn't enough to win, but it was the first time we saw that this year that the Mason defense really kept this Comet team in the game. They ranked last going into that game in pass defense, but they did a great job that game. And so far in this game, they've given up one big play, almost two big plays, so something to keep in mind that Ward and the crew for Middletown have done a good job. We'll see if this Mason offense can answer the favor.
Yeah, and something I was seeing off of that Middletown drive is that when they're throwing the ball, they're getting it out quick. And that's because they know that front seven of Mason with John Hendricks, Alex Brown, and all of them can get to him quickly. So that can open up some holes for Davin Mesway, for Jake Kelling, who we talked about before the game, to try and jump in front of one. Emerson Bikey as well, who has 2 picks on the year. But, you know, that first drive, you know, we already saw that the Comets, they can stop this defense, or this offense, excuse me. It was a 3-and-out that first drive, and the Comet offense, they were moving. It took that one snap over Noggle's head from Oscar to really put him in such a bad spot. But now you got those first drive nerves out of your way if you're Alex Noggle in the offense. Go back out, establish yourself.
Noah Nicholas, his first kick of the day, and will be out the back of the end zone. So Alex Noggle, the first drive, was promising until a snap over his head kind of stalled the drive, and the Comets ended up having to punt. But you like what you saw from Alex Noggle. It's a very similar, as we mentioned a couple times so far, very similar play style as D'Angelo Birch. And it looks like so far in this game, it's not going to be a lot of switch-ups from Coach Tatilla's game plan. So let's see what we bring out here in drive number 2.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about that the Mason coaches are going to be liking, is that it's not too much of a difference from D'Angelo Birch going from him to Alex Noggle, a guy who can keep the ball on the ground and produce.
He'll roll out to the right and has a man. It's going to be Torian Wiggins again. Torian Wiggins about a gain of 12, and the seniors came to play.
Absolutely. Torian Wiggins is a guy who's needed to step up. The Comets, they lost their, you could say, wide receiver 1 in Jamie and Martin in that Week 4 win versus Oak Hills. So Torian, he's been on this team for a while. He's that captain on the offensive side. He's had some nice jet sweeps out towards the left, and that time that play action opens for him out to the Middletown side.
Chris Hubbard at the bottom of the screen, one-on-one, no safety help. Noggle look the other way. Has a man, it's Torian Wiggins again, but he is blown up by this Middletown secondary. In there first on the tackle was LaRon Cornwell.
Yeah, you like the production from Wiggins, but you can't let him be your only guy. You can't let Torian Wiggins be the D'Lo Birch of the wide receivers. You know, you got to be bringing out those other guys. Chris Hubbard it's had a slow year, but a guy who can maybe make some plays for you.
Not a lot of Brandon Birdsong early in this game, a lot of throwing. They'll go to Chris Hubbard at the bottom of the screen. Has a one-on-one coverage, and it's good defense there. A ball on the inside. Hubbard was on the outside. Misconnection there. Wyman Carr did a good job to keep Hubbard in company. So it's now a 3rd and 11, 2:20 left in the first quarter.
You're going to say rough in the passer, so that's a free first down for the Comets.
something you need with a new quarterback. Not so much new, but his first start, and he's going to have some nerves. And obviously, a lot of people at this game, youth night, and you'll take those penalties every single day of the week, especially when it wasn't the throw that Alex Naga wanted. But it's a shot that you can take early in this game. Comets have done a good job of running the ball. 8 carries for 72 yards so far. Not a lot of Brandon Birdsong. They'll give it to him this time. Birdsong looking for blockers and has stood up in the backfield. Get about a gain of 1. But it's Elijah Harris, the DB, in on the tackle. Elijah Harris has done a good job this year. 7.5 TFLs at the DB position. Not many times you can say that. 3rd on the team in tackles at 38. Naga with Birdsong. Be a hard count. Look for an audible here. There's Torrey Wingens at the top. Chris Hubbard again at the bottom. It'll be a fake to the right, and it's going to be a fumble, and it's picked up. An interception from Middletown. Middletown knew it from the start.
Elijah Harris on that.
That's twice now. Great plays from him. We talked about the TFLs. Not many times you see from a DB, but, man, it could have been a fumble, and then he picks it up anyways to kind of cancel out the fact that it could have been a throw, and it's an interception. So Middletown trying to get to a big start here on the road.
Yeah, that's number 1 on the year for Harris, and there's not a lot you can ask from Alex Naga on a spot like that. He had 2 guys right in his face after he turned from that play action, so he's just trying to get the ball out, avoid a sack, and that's the first time that Alex at the varsity level has seen a play go wrong like that. Middletown just makes the most out of it.
As Ward trying to get his team to a big start. He'll look to throw here. He'll have a man over the top. Comets got burnt, and it's dropped. Wow, right in the breadbasket. Zamir Reed.
Talk about a break.
Wow, I mean, the Comets, it looked like it was a zone and a little bit of miscommunication on the outside. Darren Knotts got beat big time, but the Comets catch another break, the second one today on a deep throw.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great throw from Ward, and Reed just had a nice read on it. It just went through his hands. The Comets, they caught a solid break. You can't allow that kind of stuff to happen.
As Ward will take it himself, has blockers ahead, will look to get to the outside and cannot. Flag on the field.
Looks like it might be a horse collar.
Yeah, he caught him over the top on the tackle was Cameron Simmons. He's been one of the 3 linebackers for this Comet team so far this year. Just looking off the replay, yeah, they'll give him a horse collar just a little above. As down on the field is the quarterback, Joseph Ward, as the timeout is on the field. We'll go to a quick break here on Mason Sports Radio. Middletown, just 1:30 left in this first quarter. They lead the Comets 7-0. Welcome back here at Dwyer Field. Joseph Ward had to be helped off the field. So now the Comets, both backup quarterbacks, into the game.
Yeah, and that's Jason Bourne coming in. The thing is, the stats don't really show much of him being a backup. Guy who had 3 touchdowns in really his only game versus Sycamore.
It'd be a misdirection to the left side. Good play call, and just walking into the end zone will be Julian Reed again.
Julius Reed, that's the second big play that he's had today. He had that big reception that put him inside the 3, and there's that kind of misdirection. He got a block on the outside, and it was just a red carpet for him going into the end zone.
Could have been a potential block in the back there on Darren Knotts on the far side.
I thought so. I thought that they kind of clipped him there. The rest didn't seem to agree, but already it's a 2-possession lead. But Isaac, over the past 2 years, it's been Middletown getting out to a 2-possession lead, and the Comets taking it while it was almost blocked.
Yeah, Comets got in a little bit of trouble last week trying to block some kicks, but Noah Nichols, something to mention in this game. We mentioned last week that Fairfield had some kicking troubles, but Noah Nicholas is 1 for 3 on the season. His long is 24, so something to mention in this game. Has almost had no production so far in the season with little chances.
And he's missed 2 extra points as well. And you talk about the blocked field goals. The Comets, they didn't get into trouble. They did block a field goal. They blocked the game-winning field goal that would have won Fairfield the game on those final seconds. Obviously, Fairfield went on to win in overtime, but the Comets were able to block that one. They had a kick blocked of their own. But that special teams unit, they can creep up on you a little bit.
So the Comets try and keep their way in this game. Down 14-0 early. Definitely don't have to panic. A minute still in this first quarter. A lot of game left, but you got to think with the way this offense for Middletown is playing, this offense for Mason has to answer pretty quickly.
Yeah, and the Comets, they're not used to being behind on the scoreboard early in the game. You know, a team that's came back, shown resilience through some games.
Muffed there from the Comets, picked up, and the ball's fumbled. And we'll see who has it. An absolute disaster from Mason. And it's going to go Middletown's way. It's something you just can't have, and it has been, we've seen the last couple of games. We saw it against Hamilton, and they ended up getting away with it, but against Fairfield, it was sloppy. And so far, Middletown has exposed this Comet team, and now they're looking to go up 21-0 in this first quarter.
I mean, talk about going bad to getting even worse. I mean, just trying to get the kickoff, and you muff it. You're able to get it back, and then you muff it again. I mean, you're asking to turn the ball over in a spot like that. You can get the luck of getting a good bounce on the first one. I mean, you're just gifting them a spot right here.
Middletown looking for a play. You know, they'll have to use one of their timeouts, just their first of the game. Mason still has 3. That timeout was an injury timeout. But early in this game, concerns from not only this special teams as we just saw, but this defense is getting picked apart. They did a really good job in the first drive of the game of stopping Middletown. It's a quick 3-and-out, but ever since Middletown has found something from this Mason defense, and they're exploiting it. And not a lot of chances from Alex Noggle so far. He's done a good job in the chance he's gotten, but so far it's been all Middletown.
It's been an unlucky game for the Comets so far. You had just a tipped interception just from being pressured and having an inexperienced guy back there who, you know, doesn't want to take the sack, tries to launch it up. You just had that muffed punt, or that muffed kickoff, excuse me. You had that snap over Noggle's head, which ended your first drive that was looking promising. You gotta just find a way to claw back in.
It's Jason Bourne. It's under center here. He'll run to the right. Has blockers ahead, and he'll get into the end zone. Jason Bourne wastes no time getting into the end zone. Excuse me, it was Jordan Van on the Wildcat. They're on the right side, and Mason's down big here in the first quarter. Now down 20-0.
Yeah, Jordan Vaughn, a two-way player, Michigan State hard commit. I mean, It's hard to not let up a score in that situation. But, man, Middletown just standing all over.
As it's now 21-0 in favor of the Middies. Comets have lost 2 straight, and it's looking to pile on each other after that big loss against Fairfield in the last seconds, kind of spilling over into this week.
Yeah, and obviously the game is not close to over.
No.
You're still in the first quarter. You know, looking into the second half, once that time comes, you will get the ball. So it's just, you're the coaches on the sideline. You know, what happened. The game's 0-0 right now. Go win the game from here. Go put your offense back on the field. Maybe allow a touchback on the kickoff, and then
I wouldn't hate that.
Bring the offense back out. Get a run game established. You know, your team built off of the run. You're second in the GMC for a reason. You got those guys back there, Noggle and Birdsong and Wiggins, as we've already seen today. But
and obviously, as you mentioned, there's a lot of run game potential for this Comet team, but you feel like, obviously still in the first quarter, plenty of time as you mentioned, but you feel like if you can't get anything going in this second quarter, you're going to start running out of time to be able to run, and you're going to have to start throwing the ball, and that can be something that Alex Noggle's going to have to show, as it's going to be a little bit of a false start here on the kickoff. We will move Middletown back 5 yards, and we'll have to redo the kick here, but scores around the GMC. Oak Hills leads the Princeton Vikings 7-3 in the first quarter, as early in that game, but Princeton has been dominant in the GMC so far. You'd think with D'Angelo Birch's departure, you'd have a little bit of a slowdown, but so far they've been dominant.
I want to talk about Oak Hills. I mean, they got an absolute dog over there in Max Rhodes. And I was looking at the stats going into today. He's reached over 100 tackles on the year. That's 30 above Alex Brown, who's second in the GMC. You know, I would assume if Oak Hills can pull up an upset like Fairfield did to West a couple weeks ago, it's going to come off of Rhodes.
As Dakota West is handling Sycamore right now. They're up 21-0 in the first quarter. It's been rough sledding for Sycamore so far this year. They'll actually be the Comets' senior night the next time they step on this field in Week 10 after they travel to Coleraine for a matchup with the Birds.
And you talk about Coleraine. Just got their first win in a few years a couple weeks ago versus the Aviators.
As again, back in the backfield, we haven't seen it at all this year. It's Alex Brown in the backfield. You wouldn't think it's going to be a run to Alex Brown, but kind of a guy that is that lead blocker. 3 to the left side for this Comet team as Noggle has room to run. Yeah, Alex Brown pancaked out front. And how much credit can you give him? He's done such a good job on the defensive side, but he's like a Travis Hunter. He plays both sides, and he's a very important piece of this offense too. It takes a lot to block, especially as good as Alex Brown does, and then you got to take a quick film session, then go to the defense side and be the best player on that side.
Yeah. Put emphasis Travis Hunter at Colorado, you could say. I mean, Alex Brown has been that guy, not just this year, but last year. We saw a ton of him starting on the defensive side, and they've really put him into that offensive role. He had that big touchdown versus East. There'll be a flag on the play before it can even get going. It's going to be offsides on Middletown, so that gives the Comets a couple of yards.
Yeah, it's something you need right now. It's going to be a first down for Mason. 4 seconds left will be the last play of the first quarter. They'll actually make it a running clock with the penalty. But that will do it for this first quarter of action. Middletown leads the Comets big here at Mason's home field. As we head into break, a quick shout out to tonight's sponsor, Reach Cabinets and Remodeling. From kitchens to custom cabinetry, they bring expert craftsmanship and hometown pride to each project. Just like our Mason Comets, they know how to deliver results. We'll be back for second quarter action right after the break. Welcome back to second quarter action as the Comets got the free first down to end the first quarter. Alex Noggle and company trying to get something going. Noggle will fake to the left and throw to the right. Brandon Birdsong out with a screen pass and just wrapped up. A flag on the play after. We'll see what it is. You'd think with the screenplay it could be a possible hold.
Yeah, that's coming back for a hold. Looked like on the outside, defender might have been hugged out over there. But there's that screen pass that Isaac you've talked about a lot. I think that's the Comets' best play on when you're putting the ball in the air, is getting Birdsong out in that open field from that screen. You got the athletic lineman who can get him out there. And as you say that, on that screen pass, on the interception, it actually was a screen pass. The Comets offensive line let go a little too early. It was a play action, but a play they use a lot. Noggle trying to find space, has nowhere to run. It'll be a 2nd and 20, a gain of nothing. Middletown has played almost perfect so far on the defensive end. Yeah, those direct runs up the middle, that's going to be hard to let work with you could say an undersized quarterback in Noggle. We saw it a couple of times when he was at running back when Birch was still in. They would try and give him just those dives up the middle, those 21s, 22s, and he just wasn't able to get separation like a Brandon Birdsong might.
Stack at the bottom. Noggle will look that way, faking a run. So he's wrapped up for about a gain of a couple, but again, it's going to be a 3rd and long for Mason. It's felt like that's been the problem when they haven't been their best. It's been getting behind the sticks, and it's been a 3rd and long the majority of the time when Mason hasn't gotten the offense going. When they get the offense going, you're getting yourself on a good spot on first down. And that's kind of the main key for most teams, and it's that 2nd and 6, the 3rd and 1 that you can get that 3rd down. But now Mason's got to cook up a big play here, 3rd and 16 at their own 25. Here to start of the second quarter, Noggle will look to throw. He has time. He'll launch deep for Torian Wiggins, and it's almost intercepted by the two-way guy and Jordan Van, who got in the end zone just minutes before. And it'll be another ugly 3 and out for Mason.
I mean, that's really the only kind of call you can put in a spot like that. It's 3rd and 15. You just got to launch it up. I mean, Wiggins was double, almost triple covered down there on that close side. But I'll tell you, Isaac, I want to see the Comets put the ball in the air a little bit more. Noggle has an arm. We saw it versus last week versus Fairfield a bit. I mean, he can put the ball in some nice spots.
Bentley with the punt, returned by by Middletown, and on the right side. Comets almost gave up on the play. It was Virgil Coleman, the senior DB, with the return. And again, deep in Comet territory to start this drive.
Yeah, just not a great play. You kind of give up on it, think you're getting him down. He just finds a way to get out of there. I mean, this is another drive, Isaac, where the Middies are starting offensively with beautiful field positioning. You're already into Comet territory. You're 75% of the way there almost.
And Justin Bourne will take over. And it's a bad snap from him. And he'll be dragged by the Comets. The ball is loose. We'll see who has it. As it was right after. And it's going to go the Comets' way. A big-time stop by the Mason Comets. And it was another play where it was a broken play, and Mason figured out a way to get the ball, and that is a ginormous stop that you need. A turnover. Talked about it many times on Comet Sports Talk. Comets aren't very good at it, but they get it done right there.
I mean, talk about flipping it a little bit. I mean, there's a huge change right there. You gave the ball back to Middletown, and it takes one play. You didn't do a whole lot, but that sometimes those offensive mistakes on your own end is what's going to get the other team back in the game. So that gets the crowd pumping a little bit. That gets the noise a little bit loud.
Yeah, how you're going to flip the switch, you got to turn this into points. Whether it's a field goal or getting in the end zone, you can't stall out.
That scoreboard's got to change.
As will be a run by Brandon Birdsong, and Birdsong turned on the Jets, spinning his way inside the Middletown 40-yard line to the 31. Biggest play of the day, biggest run for Brandon Birdsong.
I mean, talk about Brandon Birdsong the year he's been having. I mean, the guy's been stepping in so much.
Comets hurry up to the line again. It'll be Noggle with room to the right side. Noggle spins his way to the left side, and it's a touchdown. Alex Noggle, the sophomore in his first start. We talked about poise. Kid that can get it done. Alex Noggle, big play, 2 big plays. The Comets get in the end zone after the turnover.
I mean, talk about that. It takes 2 plays. You get a huge run from Birdsong. You get that opening with Alex Noggle. I mean, talk about flipping it. It's an offense that first drive looked good, stalled out. Those other couple of drives stalled out completely. And there you go. There you find something that gets you in.
Max Gogel's extra point is good. And now, talk about flipping the switch a little bit. The Comets have flipped it a lot now. Down still 14, 9:30 left in this second quarter. But if you can get a stop here, more preferably a 3 and out, man, that could flip this game on its head. Coach Kastner loves it, trying to, as we mentioned, the big storyline for him. He's looking for his 100th career win in that Mason Green. As now the defense needing to step up. They have not been very good at all today. They stepped up last week against Fairfield when the Comets did get in the end zone for the lone time in the regulation. Comets have only had the ball for, believe it or not, 1 minute and 53 seconds. It hasn't been a lot so far, but, I mean, find a way to get in the end zone any way you can.
Absolutely. If it takes 2 plays, it takes 1 play, it takes, 200 plays. Whatever you'll take to get into the end zone. Isaac, you said on that drive, they got to get points. They got 7. That's a huge way to get back into this game. And already here in the second quarter, we talked about it. You get the ball to start the second half, and you think about that question mark at the quarterback side for Middletown now. Jason Bourne, we saw him last year in that game versus Mason when Jeremiah Landers went down a little towards the end of the game. He came in those last couple of minutes. So he's seen Mason before, not a whole lot.
As he'll have a chance to redeem himself. He did. It was a little bit of a high snap, but I would say Bourne probably just dropped it and kind of panicked a little bit, and he's going to have to do a little bit of what Alex Noggle did. A little bit of pressure here on Bourne. Hasn't had a lot of pressure so far this season. As we mentioned, the games that he's really played has been against Coleraine. But now he's got a big spot. So far, we haven't seen any of the starting quarterback for this team. Joseph Ward, he went down after the first possession of the game. Looked like with a knee injury possibly. As Bourne will look to throw, he'll look to the left side, and he'll have a man, and it's a big play, and it will end up being a touchdown. Zamir Reed beat the Comets deep, and another big play gives the Middies their 27th point of the game with still 9 minutes in the second quarter, and that just kills everything.
I mean, Julius Reed's been going all over the Comet defense today, and it took just a couple plays for the Comets. It takes 1 play for Middletown.
On for the extra point, and the extra point is no good, so the third missed extra point. And the Comets trail by 27 to 7. But what you can say, we've said it many times today, the game is still in reach for this Mason team. Alex Noggle had a really good drive. It was only 2 plays, but you saw Brandon Birdsong get a good run, and then Alex Noggle took it in the end zone with his legs. So still a lot of optimism on the offensive end for this Mason team, but you're now going to have to win this game on the defensive end because no matter how many points you score on offense, you're still going to be down 2 possessions at all times with how the score is now. Little scores around the GMC. Lakota East is up 7-0 against Colerain in the second quarter. Lakota East has kind of been all over the place this year. They still have to play Lakota West. So that'll be a good game. Princeton did get in the end zone. They now lead 10-7 in the second quarter against Oak Hills. But yeah, one play, 80 yards, 10 seconds for Middletown to answer. And back deep is Jake Kelling. He will call for fair catch, and it'll be a touchback. This Comet offense has got to start moving quick, and they did a great job last drive getting in the end zone.
Yeah, you're gonna need what just happened. You're gonna need to do that again. It started with Brandon Birdsong going up the middle. And then it ended with Alex Nagel taking it up the middle. And we mentioned the offense is gonna start with Brandon Birdsong. I mean, outside of D'Angelo Birch when he's been healthy, Brandon Birdsong has been the guy on this offense, creating those explosive runs. He kind of has that ability to either find a little bit of a gap or push through just a little bit more.
Alex Silly at the bottom of the screen, converted quarterback. He's done a good job. He's got good hands there at the bottom, and Tristan Newhouse there kind of in the slot. It's a low snap. Nagel looking to throw. He'll just throw it at the feet of Wiggins on the right side. Middletown did a good job of covering up Nagel and Wiggins on the play action to the right. It'll be a 2nd down and 10, 9 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, and I think here's where you want to see one of those Coach Kastner elongated drives. You know, the Comets, those big runs from Birdsong and Nagel were fun, but that's not what the Comets like to establish their offense on. It's get those 4 yards every play, burn that clock, because you want to find a way where this Middletown offense has been going on you quick, so give them as little time as you can.
As Nagel, people in his face, and he fumbles the ball, but picks it up just at the last second.
Yeah, you can't become a scarecrow there.
It's been a little bit of miscommunication between the center, Joey Oscar, and Alex Nagel, probably because they haven't really played a lot together. And we mentioned before that size difference and that height difference is a big factor when it comes to getting the ball to your quarterback. You'll be a 3rd and 15, 8:30 left in the first half. Alex Nagel will take the snap, look to the right, has time. And will throw, and is dropped by Chris Hubbard. Had it in the hands. But on the coverage, Middletown and Loren Cornwell stopped it, and now the Comets will bring on the punt team.
Yeah, and so far when the Comets have been finding themselves behind the 6, they haven't been able to find themselves getting back in front. No, there's been plenty of times today where the Comets, they've been in that 3rd and 15 spot. Those 3rd and 12s, those 3rd and 20s.
That's a good point here from Bentley. So we'll go again to the return man for this Middletown team. It will be Jordan Van. And now Middletown again. For the 3rd time today after a punt. Not a lot of Ryan Bentley can do, but they're in Comet territory already at about the 41-yard line. 8 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, you already got that one turnover. You're going to need another. The last thing that the Comets want is going down 34-7 or 35-7 if they go for 2. You got to find a way to get a stop. Your secondary is going to have to step up a little bit.
It's Justin Bourne. Had a great throw to that far side to get in the end zone. Definitely comfortable in throwing. He'll throw it to running back in the backfield. It will be Dimitri and James. And James hasn't really had too many carries today. It's been more of that wildcat we've seen from Van and then the running back kind of draw. But he's been a good job kind of staying in the game at the receiving position out of the backfield.
Yeah, and you talk about the limited carries. He only had 5 carries last week versus East, and he had 72 yards. 64 of them all came on one play. So they've been trying to put the ball in the air a little bit more, and hey, it's working.
As the Comets blow it up, and Bourne is just wrapped up by Alex Brown. Be another TFL for the captain in the middle. Blown up by the Comet front and John Hendricks. So 3rd down. Mason in need of a stop. Cameron Simmons checks into the game. Big 3rd and 8 here. If the Comets can get off the field, they'd have a chance to kind of create a drive just before halftime. 7 minutes left. Bourne and James in the backfield we've seen most of the time today. Comets with 2 safeties with Bikey and Kelling. Looking to throw is Bourne. Bourne down the field has a man and is incomplete. Lewis or Mesway kind of got a little tangled up there. But it's an incomplete pass, and the Comets will get off the field.
Yeah, he's looking for Reed, 18 again. And plenty of times, Middletown's been attacking that secondary, attacking the safeties. Isaac, we talked pregame how big guys like Jake Kelling and Emerson Bikey are going to be for this, and they kind of catch a little bit of a break there, but those long balls have to be eliminated.
Noah Nicholas, the kicker and the punter. This one a good punt. And Comets just almost ran into each other. But Kelling catches it, and now the ball at about the 12-yard line for Alex Noggle. Comets 6:37 remaining in this first half. Plenty of time to get on the board, but down 20 points. You get the ball at halftime, so if you can find a way to even get a field goal, you're still definitely in this game.
Yeah, you got 6 minutes, 37 seconds on the clock to play with, and you still got a lot of the field to go, but you have timeouts. There's no reason you're going to be having to rush on this drive. The big key is you can't find yourself behind that starting stick.
This will be a handoff to Birdsong here. Birdsong trying to find his way as it's a good run there on 1st down. And Daniel, you got to think, Brandon Birdsong's got to be getting a lot of carries the remainder of this game with how he's been running the ball today. He's looking more elusive than ever at that running back position, almost not taking his carries for granted as he's kind of been moved to that wide receiver position the last couple of weeks. It'll be Brown in the backfield with Noggle this time. It'll be a fake to the left. Noggle will take it himself. Noggle with room to the left side. Has a block, and he has room to the outside. Flags, barrage of flags on the field. Could be another possible hold on the Comets with Noggle getting to the outside. Had space. We'll have to see what our referees call here. It was another good job from this offensive line of blocking. Noggle had room, but we'll have to see. 6 minutes even remaining, as it will be on the Comets. Scores are on the GMC. Hamilton leads Fairfield 7-0. Hamilton's a lot better team than they look on their record. They're at the bottom of the GMC, but they've had some tough games, one of them being against this Middletown team. So they lead Fairfield, Princeton, and Oak Hill same score at 10-7. It's a little bit of confusion here with Coach Kastner and this referee crew.
So a couple flags. Looks like the penalty's offset.
So be about at the same spot, but the Comets do lose, and they do not lose the down. So we'll redo the down here. 2nd and 5, so not anything too crazy. But you do take away that big run from Noggle. Comets will flip the side. Be Birdsong, Hubbard, and Torian Wiggins on the left side. You gotta think it's a tell if Alex Brown is in the backfield because you're not going to give it to him, as Noggle has it himself, is not going down, and will get a couple for a third and manageable third down. But Daniel, are you seeing something? Because Alex Brown, he's been kind of on the left side. He hasn't really been in the backfield. And you got to think, if you're Middletown, you haven't seen Alex Brown with any carries in his high school career, and you got to think it's going to be either a throw or it's going to be from Noggle every time.
It seems like it is Noggle on those plays, so that's why you bring in back Birdsong. Birdsong's got to be in there.
And Noggle with a big run to the right side. He has blockers ahead, and it'll be a huge Comet first down as Birdsong led the way.
I'll tell you, Brandon Birdsong has played such a huge role in this offense this year. I mean, he had a nice guy to go off of culturally in Temi Adesanya last season.
As Noggle will take it on the right side again, spinning his way, about a gain of 3 or 4. Comets now have to start looking at the clock a little bit. Not even at the 30-yard line on their own side of the field, under 5 minutes remaining. You don't have to worry about Max Gogel's field goal kicking abilities when it comes to how far he can kick it, but you got to start looking at the clock a little bit. Possibly a jump there from Middletown, but penalties will stay, as it'll be a third down and 6, about a gain of nothing there. Comets trying to break through.
Yeah, and Isaac, you talk about that clock. Coach Kastner knows what he's doing with that clock. I mean, the big plan is try and bring this down as much as you can. If you can get on the board, that's great. Middletown cannot get the ball one more time this half. And I think that's why Kastner is taking his time.
As Noggle look to the right side, and it's broken up again. Great coverage there by Lauren Cornwell. How many times have we said his name? Chris Hubbard tried getting in there for the catch, but it's, again, the Comets off the field. And it'll be another punt.
And Cornwell, a Central Michigan commit, announced that before the start of the season. I mean, this is a secondary of Middletown that has an eye for the ball. You look at as well, Virgil Coleman, number 0, 4 interceptions on the year.
And Van picks it up right in front of Kelling. So the Comets bring him down at about the 32-yard line. A good punt there from Orion Bentley. Nothing to say bad about him so far.
And Sheehan, 85. Did a nice job there getting on the tackle. I mean, Isaac, I think the game plan for Mason is extremely simple. You cannot let Middletown back into the end zone.
Yeah, and you got to think Middletown's going to want to air it out here, as they've done it. They've done a great job so far. Under 4 minutes at 3:51 for Bourne and the Middletown Middies to try and still get on the board, get some more points for insurance here in the first half. It'll be a run, and all over it is Big John Hendricks.
How many times in the past couple of weeks has John done that? I mean,
He's almost taking the ball.
Oh, my goodness. I can't imagine being a running back and seeing Hendricks come flying at you like that. I swear, he's had that same exact play a couple times over the past couple of weeks of just blowing up a play like that quickly right after the running back gets the ball. I mean, you get that production from Big John.
Justin Bourne. Here, look to throw, look to the left side, and you'll have a man open again. As the Comets are getting exposed in the secondary, Will Gibson with his second catch today. The ball will be placed at about the 40 of Middletown. 3 minutes remaining in the half. Comets trying to stay alive almost. Bourne and James in the backfield, how it's been most of the time here. in the second quarter. It'll be James this time, and he's wrapped up in the backfield, only a gain about 1 or 2. And Johnson was on it again. As you mentioned, no Kaler today. He's been one of the best edge rushers for this Mason team. No Kaler, and Johnson has kind of been a good replacement so far.
Yeah, Drake's played football for a couple of years now. You know, he's a guy you can throw in, has decent size there. You see number 44 on that far edge. Like I said, Isaac, he's been fine.
Yeah, pass to the outside, and again, the same guy we've said all day, Julius Reed, have a week so far in this first half. I mean, has had career stats and not even in the second half yet.
Yeah, he puts on a nice move on number 2, Emerson Bikey, the safety. That one-on-one tackle, it can be so difficult, but man, is it important. If Emerson's able to bring him down there at the line, that puts you in a much better spot if you're the Comets. But you know, Reed's done a nice job of making that open field area his home.
And that's very important. Middletown, a lot of playmakers on this offensive we've seen displayed so far. Is in the backfield. It'll be James. James with a lot of room. And he'll finally be brought down, but at the Comets 15. First down and 10, 1:16 remaining in the half. Middleton has had kicking problems, as we mentioned a couple times today. Already a missed extra point, 1 for 3 on the season so far from their place kicker Noah Nichols. So if you can hold them to a field goal, nothing's guaranteed. Bourne will look to throw. Bourne in the middle of the field, one-on-one. Great defense there from the Comets. Almost ran out of room was the midi on the far side. Might have landed on the track. That can't be it's got to be a pretty painful landing.
Yeah, that can't be a comfortable spot to go down.
And it was Zamir Reed. Second down and 10, 48 seconds remaining in the half. Bourne has done a good job being the replacement for Joseph Ward, who went down in the first quarter. Run up the middle. James will carry the pile for a couple. 2 timeouts for Middletown remaining around the GMC. Oak Hills gets a field goal, now 10-10 in the second quarter. So there's a midi down on the field. We'll go to a quick break, 38 seconds before the half. The Comets trying to keep the middies off before the end of the half. We'll go to a quick break. Back for second quarter action. Down on the field was Keegan Stacy. He can run under his own power. The center, one of the most important parts of this Middletown team. Very big guys. We saw him trot off the field. Middletown, right after the injury timeout, takes a timeout. So very interesting there. The clock stopped, and you decide to use one of your timeouts.
I mean, hey, why not? With the time you got left, they'll burn their second. They still got another. And you mentioned it, just 38 seconds. So, I mean, not a whole lot of time left to use it. You might as well just burn it in. Middletown, I mean, hey, if you're able to punch this in one more time, I mean, you don't want to count the Comets out. You don't want to do that, but you make it a 4-possession game going into halftime. I mean, that's going to be hard to come back from. And the Comets, like we've mentioned a couple times, over the past 2 years, it's been comebacks. Over the past 3 years, it's been 3-point wins for the Comets. But you know, those last two were 17-14 wins, and already they have 27, looking to get into the 30s.
3rd and 6 at the 11. The most points the Comets have allowed. It's only the first half born with James in the backfield. He'll look to throw. Comets bringing the house in. It will be a sack. In there on a big play was number 15, Dave Hutton.
Yeah, Hutton did a nice job meeting him there in the middle, and then Juan Bates got him from behind to kind of finish that off. Hutton's played a big role this year. I mean, this is a guy who didn't have a whole lot of time last season, and that's a huge sack because that makes it 4th.
And Nicholas on the kick, his long is 24. This one is about 30. His kick is up, and his kick is perfect. Noah Nichols even coming out to play, as that will take us to halftime. And Daniel, 30-7, the Comets obviously haven't had the half they've wanted, but what can you see in this second half that they can turn around? They get the ball to start it.
You got to eliminate the pass game. You got to eliminate Julius Reed, and you got to eliminate Zion Reed as well, a couple of those big guys. On the offensive side, establish the run through Brandon Birdsong, and then that opens up Alex Noggle for you. But you got to get those two involved. It's not going to be just one person who's able to go in and make that really count, as well as Torian Wiggins. So the Comets, they need their playmakers to be playmakers. It's a tough spot to come back. It's 23. You're still not out of this.
Yeah, it's the end of the first half here at tonight's game. The broadcast is brought to you by Reach Cabinets and Remodeling. Quality you can trust, craftsmanship you can see. Visit them at reachcabinets.com. The Comets trail by 23, 30-7. We'll be back for second half action shortly.
Dreaming of a kitchen or bathroom that truly reflects your style? Reach Cabinets and Remodeling is here for you. We are a one-call, does-it-all company, serving the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and Dayton areas. Visit our website or call Jerry at 513-260-2595 and let him know you saw us on Mason Sports Radio broadcast. Reach Cabinets and Remodeling, making dream remodels a reality.
the 2025 football season is in full swing, many people focus on the players and the coaches, but what about the ones who work overtime behind the scenes? As football manager and coach's assistant, Kelly Boyle prepares for her final season. She continues to be the backbone holding the team together behind the scenes. With the support of coaches and players, she's wrapping up this season, continuing this path in college.
When I started in my position, it was definitely not only new to me, but new to all the coaches, so it was definitely a learning experience for everybody. As the years have gone on, my jobs have gotten more tedious and more detailed, and I do more for the team, I feel like, now versus when I was a freshman, because when I first entered in here, because it was so new to everybody, it was kind of just like a figure it out as you go. Coming into this position, it was definitely exhilarating because of just kind of being the first female in football at Mason, and the fact that I was like kind of paving the way, and little did I know that it would lead to be, there's I think 5 or 6 females that have now worked for the football team since I started, and so it's definitely been an amazing experience and so much fun to just kind of see how the program's grown since I started.
Throughout the years, Kelly has had the opportunity to learn and grow so much through the program. As a senior, she's leaving behind her legacy as a female lead in football, teaching other younger CAs the importance of leadership, hard work, and most importantly, passion. Kelly's drive and passion for football and managing is leading her on a career path beyond the high school level. As she wraps up her final high school season, she is hopeful for what the future of CA holds for her.
I would like to think that the legacy I'm leaving behind is kind of paving a way for other females in a male-dominated sport and help them grow, because they're growing with me. I'm growing as I'm teaching them, and I'm growing as I'm mentoring them, and so it's definitely fun to just kind of watch not only them grow, but the program grow, and feel myself grow through it all. What I'm doing now has definitely prepared me for what I'm going to do in college. I have definitely seen a lot more and learned a lot more than I did when I came in as a freshman, and it has definitely prepared me for the years to come.
Football has been a high school focus for many students, athletes, and coaches. What Kelly has done for the team is truly remarkable. The legacy Kelly has created will not go unnoticed or be forgotten. Her dedication, determination, and hard work truly pays off and makes all the difference for the Mason High School football team. I'm Abby Clipson, NBC Sports.
On the golf course, every swing matters, but for Mason seniors Ali Kime and Ava DiTillo, their impact goes far beyond the scorecard. This season, the pair not only drives the Comets toward success, but also provides the steady kind of leadership that connects the Comets on and off the course. For these two experienced golfers, leadership comes through example, as they demonstrate to their teammates the mindset and composure required to compete.
As a captain, I think I'm really just trying to make everyone feel involved and welcome on the team, and we do a lot of fun things together, like after practice at Greencrest, we'll go get ice cream, and also just encouraging, especially the underclassmen, because they're not used to all the experience of playing on varsity or just in matches in general, and sometimes it can be really hard when you're not getting the results that you've worked for. So I just try to encourage them and remind them that they are working hard and their results will come, and that they're still a great person even when their round might not reflect it.
I think it's just important to remind them that it can feel like an individual sport, but it's not. So we have to act like a team in how we practice. So this is kind of more on my coach, but this year she's initiated full team practices, which I feel are good, because then everyone can start to bond a little more. And then when we pair up and stuff, or do a partner drill, then we have time to talk with the freshmen, or even yesterday we're doing a drill, and I could just help a freshman out with how to get the tempo of the putter, which is important. So I think just little things like that, because I think when it comes from a peer, it can be more helpful than a coach.
Even while Ali and Ava keep their eye on their own performance, they never lose sight of the bigger picture. Both golfers take pride in being mentors, sharing advice, steadying nerves, and guiding teammates through tough moments. Their leadership goes beyond the scorecard, shaping the culture where everyone feels supported and ready to succeed.
I feel on the golf course, there's a lot of places you can have a setback, but you just have to remember I'm a good player, and this one shot doesn't define me. So if I'm playing, I gotta just you have to have a short-term memory. That's what one of my coaches said before. I think that's so true, because if you just reminisce on one hole or one shot, you can't really move forward. So you just gotta think about the next shot and try to visualize that and keep playing.
The main thing for me on the course is just keeping my mind calm, because we work so hard in practice on like putting drills or chipping and our swing and the mechanics, but really when it comes time to stepping on the course, I just try to have my mind in one place and focusing on staying calm and just on one thing, and really just trusting myself and what I've worked on to execute the shots that I need to.
As their high school careers begin to wind down, Allie and Ava know that their time on the course is more than just scores and standings. They've built a legacy of leadership, one grounded in guidance, encouragement, and example. And while the final rounds are still ahead, they take pride in knowing that their impact will carry on, shaping the next generation of Comets to compete with confidence and lead with heart. I'm Bella Dahl, NBC Sports.
Dreaming of a kitchen or bathroom that truly reflects your style? Reach Cabinets and Remodeling is here for you. We are a one-call does-it-all company, serving the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and Dayton areas. Visit our website or call Jerry at 513-260-2595 and let him know you saw us on Mason Sports Radio broadcast. Reach Cabinets and Remodeling, making dream remodels a reality.
Welcome back to some Comet Sports as we taking the second half here on Mason Sports Radio. My name is Isaac Vargo alongside my broadcast partner Daniel Panetti. And Daniel, in the first half, it was all Middletown playing it at every single level, a really good passing game. What can the Comets do in this second half to kind of get themselves back into the game? They do have the ball to start the second half.
They got to slow themselves down. They got to eliminate the mistakes. They've got to establish their offense the same way that they've been doing it this year. And it starts at the quarterback position. Alex Noggle, the score's 30-7, but it's not because of his production. Noggle, he had that one interception, and outside of that, it's been a decent showing from the sophomore quarterback. But Brandon Birdsong as well, who we've talked about a couple of times, he needs to be getting going a little bit more. You got to start your first downs, those 1st and 10s, giving it to Brandon Birdsong, and making sure that you can get your best playmaker, I'd say, on the field, which is Brandon, to get the offense going. And on the defensive side, the secondary, they've gotten to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, for Middletown, Joseph Ward, the guy you kind of circled going into this week, he went down up 14-0 for this team, and it was kind of the guys around him. The quarterback in this second quarter, you could say, was Justin Bourne. He did a good job overall. He did muff the ball once. That led to a Comet touchdown, but he's done a good job for the most part. Jordan Van, one of the guys on the outside, one of the biggest receivers the Comets have seen this year. He's very physical on the outside, and then of course, Julius Reed has done a phenomenal job for this Middletown team of exploiting this Comets secondary, and it's shown so far on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but now you get the ball coming out of the half. You find yourself down 23. Just keep picking away. Keep chipping. Keep getting 3. Keep getting 7. Keep getting anything that you can to get yourself back into this. And the Comets, they like being good in the second half. Over the past couple of years, they've been a bit of a second half team. So show that you can do that here. You're in a bad spot, but you come out, win the second half, claw any way you can back in.
Comets have a long hill to climb, but they got to start with, I think, getting points on the board in the first drive. It's really important to kind of seize that ship in the right direction in the second half. Noah Nichols got his best kick of the season to end the first half. He'll let it go here, and it'll be Jake Kelling to return. Kelling to the 20, and he'll be wrapped up at about the 25. As the ball is loose after the play. Looks like they blew it dead before, and now it will be Alex Noggle and the crew as a little bit of extracurricular players down on the field after the play. And now Alex Noggle will come out on the field, and you mentioned it. It's not his fault, I would say. He had a really good run. He's done a good job of operating this offense. He's put them in good positions, and that interception I wouldn't even say was his fault. I mean, talk about how much space he had to really throw that ball, not a lot. Brandon Birdsong in the backfield with him. You'd like to see a lot of him in this second half for the Comets to have success. It's going to be that play that they ran a lot in the first half. Torian Wiggins to the right side. It'll be about a gain of 4. That's the go-to play in this, in the first kind of possession of each half. You've seen a lot in the first possession of the game. We've seen it 2 or 3 times, and we saw it a bunch of times in the first drive of the game. As Noggle fakes look to the left again, it'll be getting to the outside. Alex Noggle has room to run. Noggle with space to the 50, and he'll just jog out of bounds. So a big play there from the Mason Comets, and we've seen multiple times. Alex Brown in the backfield, a lot of receivers to the left side. It's almost a fake and then a run up the middle every single time, but this time it works out. Comets hurry to the line as they have most of the time today. Noggle alone in the backfield. Comets 3 sets, receivers to the top. A high snap. Noggle has to take it himself, and you'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Second and 11 at the 49.
It's been a nice drive from Noggle so far. He had to kind of make something out of that little bit of a high snap. But that run he had went for about 20 yards. You want to see a little more of that.
Birdsong at the top of the screen. Snoggle will look to the other side. It'll be Wiggins, and Wiggins will fight to make it about a 3rd and short on Middletown's side of the field. 10:30 left. You're just now joining us in this second half. Snoggle had a big run to get to the Comets to this point. 3rd and 4, a big conversion here if the Comets can get it. Another hot snap going to Noggle. Noggle moving his way, and it'll be a 1st down. The sophomore finds his way to keep the drive alive.
I mean, Alex Noggle is playing that D-Lo role right now. Taking it, finding that gap up the middle, and just clawing for those couple of yards. And you see them moving quick. This has been working.
Moved a little bit of tempo. Noggle takes it again. That time back in the line of scrimmage. Kid's got to be a little bit tired, man. I mean, talk about 3 or 4 of the last plays. He's just been right up the middle to these Middletown defenders, and mostly this front. I mean, it can't be feeling very good to have those big guys land on you after each of those plays. Birdsong this time right behind Noggle. They'll give it to him. Birdsong to the left side, dragging defenders, fighting his way. He gets about an extra 1.5 yards out of it.
That little spinning tackle, the way he went down, like you said, that gives him an extra yard or 2. That's big. This running game is starting to work.
Another 3rd down. Birdsong runs into a wall, and a good job there from Middletown. But you got to think on that 3rd down, the reason they ran is because they want to go for it on 4th down. It'll be about a 4th and medium, 4th and 6.
Absolutely, you're not punting this ball. It might be a little too yard of a field goal for Max Gogol, and that's almost that's be around 50 yards.
Yeah, talking with Max Gogol, he said his long and what he works on in practice, he can get it from 50, but right here, they're going to go with the offense. Big time 4th down here. Noggle looking to throw, and they'll stop the play. Alex Brown had a lot of room to run. We'll see what it is. It could be a possible false start. It'll be an offsides on Middletown. So a big penalty there on the middies will make it now a 4th and 1, and now decision time for Mason. Do you stick with the run, or do you go with the pass?
I mean, I think he put this ball on the ground, but oh my goodness, the Comets almost had one with Alex Brown there.
And a lot of flags on the field, a lot of confusion and movement. And now the referees will disperse as a lot of movement. The Comets kind of motioned over the offensive line did, and they're going to give Mason the false start. As I'm not sure, because the Comets moved, but Middletown kind of jumped, and they were motioning over, which is a legal play. It's not, if they all move at the same time, which they did, it wouldn't be a false start on one particular player, and I don't think they got that one right. And Middletown did jump. So almost back to the beginning, now a 4th and 6. Mason's got to hurry up a little bit. 15 seconds left on that play clock. 8 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. Mason can't get a play in because Coach Kastner is kind of talking with the referee about the last call, and they'll have to waste a timeout on it.
Couple times so far this year, the Comets have kind of found themselves in spots like that with the flags. And, you can say the good thing is about whether you like the call or not, it brought you back to where you were on that first 4th down. You would love to have a 4th and 1, but you have a 4th and 6, so it's not a 4th and 12 or something a little harder to manage like that. But, you're in this timeout. I mean, I think you had a great call there with Alex on that original 4th down. I mean, Middletown, they brought the house, and Brown looked to have obviously you give up a little bit with the whistle, but Brown might have had some room. And we saw, you go back to that Lakota East game, it was a 4th and short. It was about 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and they just threw one up to a wide open Alex Brown. He is in the game, but I think you have to see the ball get put in the air.
Brown will be back in the backfield with Noggle. We've seen a lot of runs from Noggle in this situation. You wouldn't think it'd be a straight run here. Noggle looking to throw. He'll look to the left side. He'll get it out just in time, but swatted by Middletown. It'll be a turnover on downs. By the Comets, it'll be Virgil Coleman. Talked about him multiple times today on the coverage. And now the Comets kind of stall out, take up a lot of that clock in the third quarter, and end up going with nothing.
He's looking for Demetrius McClurkin, the new number 10 for the Comets, who we've seen a bit over the past couple of weeks once Jamie and Martin went out. But I mean, Middletown, they know to bring the pressure in a spot like that. You got an inexperienced quarterback who's gonna have to make a decision quick. That's a tough way to end that drive. The Comets, they were having one of their most formed drives of the game.
Yeah, I think Middletown will be going with a lot of runs here as they do on the first play. It's a big one. Just hasn't been the Comets' night in the defensive end. This time, Carson Spire with his first run of the day for the Middies. So far, rushing this year, he has 2 touchdowns, but overall 15 carries for 76 yards, 5-yard average, so not too much.
And a lot of those carries did come in that 31-0 win over Coleraine, where he did find himself to get into the end zone. Also played a bit versus the Aviators.
Be a motion over to the right. It'll be a fake, and they'll take it, and the Comets are all over it. So that time Johnson in on it again. Brother of Vaughn Johnson, one of the Comets captains a couple years ago, so some connections there.
Looks like John Hendricks is hitting a little bit of a dance after getting involved in that one. Him and Brian O getting in on the attack. We've said Brian O's name quite a bit today, and he's been a guy who kind of gets overlooked a little bit with the John Hendricks, the AJ Kahlers or Juan Bates.
Small guy for sure, but he's quick off the edge, and he is really strong up front. Be another run here by the Middies. The Comets still dragging go the Middies, and the Comets will shut it down after about a gain of 3. It'll be a third down. It'll be a big third down here because you got to think Middletown, their whole goal in this third quarter is just to waste that clock. They're not really even trying to score. They're going to run the ball the majority of the time unless it's a 3rd and 6 here. I think you could possibly even see another run here because they might be willing to go for it. Up 23, you have nothing to lose, and you need to keep the ball as long as possible. So just dipping under 6 minutes now. We'll see what the Middies decide to do.
Got a very spread out look. You got to think they wouldn't be going for this unless it's a 4th and 2 or closer.
And it'll be a throw to the right side and just out of the reach of number 15, Will Gibson. He had himself a good first half, and the Comets get off the field. Good job there by the defense. They really struggled in that first half, but kind of good to see the punt unit on the field for this Middletown team. Noah Nichols, the converted kicker, will have the punt duties, and Jake Kelling back to return it. He'll call for fair catch, and he drops it. Just barely picks up at the 15.
Kelling has struggled back there a little bit this year. He had that muff punt versus Hamilton a couple weeks ago, and we already saw a muffed kickoff. But just a good job getting back on it. What a even farther of a dagger it would have been if the Comets weren't able to get back on that. But
so now time definitely against you now if you're Mason, running out of time, almost 5 minutes in this third quarter. You got to think it's going to be a lot of passes, or it's going to be a lot of runs from your best players in Brandon Birdsong. Comets with a spread out look here. Late sub. As Naga will fake, and he'll run it up the middle. He has a lane, spinning his way, and still running to about a gain of 8. A little bit of a hard count here with Brown to the right of Noggle and Birdsong to the left. Wiggins and Hubbard at the top. Second down and short. The Comets will go with the run. It'll be Birdsong pinballing his way in between defenders, and it'll be a first down by the Comets.
Nice job, Birdsong, being able to kind of slither through that gap a little bit. Got a little off balance. If he's able to just kind of use that bounce a little bit more to stay up, it could have been a big gain, but you're able to move the chains. Birdsong comes up big. He's a small guy, but he gets you those yards in those second and shorts, third and shorts.
Counts a little bit of a slower approach here. Birdsong will try and take it to the outside, but it's a good wrap up there by number 4, Jordan Van. The two-way guy. He's been everywhere on the field. One very physical linebacker and very physical receiver. He's got in the end zone so far on a Wildcat look, actually. Second and 10, Comets still slow to the line. 4 minutes left in this third quarter. With a touchdown would make it a 2-possession game. If the extra point is good, still be 16 points, so you'd have to go for 2 and if we got there, but this Birdsong upended in the backfield there. C.J. Bryant, 5'9", but 210 pounds. Big guy back there. He leads this team with 10 TFLs and 66 tackles, an overwhelming favorite on this defense.
And a ball hawk, too, has 2 picks. One of them came last week. He tipped the ball from Knudsen of Lakota East to line.
Noggle will look back to pass. He'll run it, go to the left side, and get about a couple, and now make it 4th down. So Mason down 23 will have to go for it. 4th and 6, a must need, you would think, and Kastner's going to bring the punt unit on the field. In his own territory. A little bit of score updates. Oak Hills gets in the end zone, up 17-10 against the Princeton Vikings in the third quarter. So
how about that?
Potential upset over there.
We saw Fairfield do it against Dakota West a couple weeks ago.
It's a good punt there from Bentley. Good catch there from Jordan Van. Kind of caught it with 2 hands, kind of the way you're supposed to catch it. And a little bit risky.
Yeah, but now's where you want to see your defense play a bit aggressive. You're trying to get those TFLs. You're trying to get the turnovers. You already got one today, and that was more of a Middletown turnover than a Mason takeaway. But find any way to get your offense back out on the field, because you know that, Isaac, you said it last drive, the Middletown goal is take off every single millisecond that you can on the clock with 2:18 left.
You got to know that as a Comet defenders. It's going to be another run right here up the middle. Comets have 1 turnover today with a fumble recovery around this part of the field, as it's about a gain of 1, but Middletown not really caring about the gain. Just dipping under 2 minutes now in the third quarter remaining. It's taking all the time left in the clock. 7 seconds remaining in the clock. Middletown not really knowing. Down to 2, down to 1. And it's going to be a timeout from Middletown. It'll be their first of the half. Comets already a wasted 1. Both teams will now have 2 timeouts in the game.
You see they take that timeout, a minute 28 left in the third. Enough time for you to assume they're keeping this on the ground, so it'll probably just be 2, maybe 3 more plays. You don't expect to see the ball in the air at all.
Yeah, next week for both of these teams, Middletown is going to have a home game against Hamilton. They'll, assuming they beat Hamilton, they'll have a big game at Princeton for either a share of the GMC or Princeton will have it lone in the GMC. And then also in that last week, we have probably the biggest game of the season most of the time in the GMC, which is Lakota East and Lakota West. Always a thriller down there in the Lakotas. And then Mason will go to Coleraine next week, try and get right, and then they'll have Sycamore at home on senior night. And then it'll be playoff time, just like that, a quick season. As a pitch to the left side, it's Reed again. He's been the star player of this Middletown team.
Yeah, both Reeds have just been running all over the Comet defense. You got to think this is something they'll take in. And with the Comets, you got your 2 easiest games ahead of you as well in Coleraine and Sycamore. So it's going to be a nice little, if all goes right, a nice little boost going into the playoffs. You got to think with the way that the season's starting to align, they'll be on the road for the playoffs. But
it's a throw down the field, beats him deep downfield, and it's going to be caught for another touchdown. Another one of the Reeds, Zamir Reed, 6'3" on the outside, beats the Comets secondary again, but there is flag on the field. It's a possible hold. And it will be a hold, so the long trot back from Zamir Reed and company after that touchdown.
And the Comets got away with another big call there. It's just that secondary is, it seems to be just a step behind either Zamir Reed or Julius Reed, whichever ones you want to throw it to. And that size difference as well. I mean, Zamir's 6'3", Julius 5'10". And you got to think of 1st and 20. They're either running the ball or they're throwing it deep again. Got to have a safety playing a couple steps more back.
There's a run there. It'll be Will Gibson with another big play. It's the Mason student section having some fun despite the big lead. They're the pink out tonight, a pretty good showing for the Comet student section, but they're kind of doing the Florida State chop right now to the Middletown. You could call it student section 1 row over there on the far side. You can hear it all the way up here in the booth. So shout out to the Black Hole and the crew for they've done a good job this year.
You've been in there a couple times.
I have. I've gotten the chance to get in that front row. I'm 1-1 so far. 2 tough games. I mean, Lakota East being one of them, and then Princeton, we took the loss there.
And with the time right now, we're just going to head into a quick little break. Stay tuned as we come back here on Mason Sports Radio.
Back for some fourth quarter action. A big thank you to tonight's sponsor, Reach Cabinets and Remodeling, here at Mason Sports Radio. Middletown up big here at Dwyer Field in Week 8. They have firm possession at a 6-1 record. We're hoping to make it 7-1. Be a run up the middle to the left side. Another big run. James checks back into the game. Limited carries last week, limited carries this week, but in those carries, he's still done a good job in the backfield and leads his team in rushing.
Yeah, James has kind of been that hidden weapon, you could say, for the Middletown offense. It's been a lot of, well, ever since Ward went down, Jason Bourne with the two reads by his side, but Demetrian James, 2040, you can't forget about him because he has that big play potential.
So run to the right side, Alex Brown with the solo tackle. And that's kind of the big part about this Middletown team. They have a lot of weapons, especially in the running game. I think that's the most important part in this GMC, one of the best conferences in the state. I mean, you talk about Joshua Ward, Joseph Ward, he went down in this game, but he was leading with 322 and five rushing touchdowns. You got James, who has 450 and 5 touchdowns. You have even Carson Spire, we've seen a couple times with 2 touchdowns. And then Van, even at wide receiver, we saw him in the Wildcat. He got in the end zone, just multiple options, and that's what you see in a good team like Middletown. As Bourne will look to throw, have a man in the middle of the field, and it's caught. Helmet goes off. But still hauled in. What a catch there from, you guessed it, Julius Reed, having a career day.
I mean, the guy who came into today with 4 carries, 10 receptions on the year, so you're not thinking about him a whole lot. I mean, he's having himself a day. Zamir Reed next to him, 18 and 19 both.
And all without Ace Cooper, their number 1 guy.
Just imagine how high power this offense can be, and Bourne's done a nice job slinging it.
He has. As he falls down there. Good look there from our sideline cam as Bourne gets up fine. A little bit of turf monster there on first down. Makes it 2nd and 10. Just 10:45 remaining in the game. Comets are going to need a huge comeback to be in this game.
Yeah, and with the way that Middletown is driving on you in this drive already in the 4th quarter, they can make this 37-7. You're getting to the point where you're just finding stuff to take into next week.
Bourne finds Gibson in the middle of the field. Gibson, that kind of number 3 this year. He's had a couple good catches so far as they get inside the red zone. And we mentioned big plays and preventing those big plays early in the broadcast. And in the first possession of the game for Middletown, the Comets did a great job and got a 3 and out. And ever since, Middletown's either found something or tried something different to kind of expose this Mason team. In the 4th quarter in GMC, Hamilton and Fairfield tied 7-7. Dakota East has had a big second half as they're up 34-3 now against Coleraine. A little miscommunication with Bourne and Gibson. And then Oak Hill still leads Princeton 17-10 in the 3rd quarter. And you got to think, if you're a Middletown fan now that you've almost secured this game, that's a huge loss if Princeton can lose that game, because you talk about those 2 teams still need to play, and then the winner of that game would have full possession of the GMC.
Yeah, and those 2 teams meet Week 10, the final game of the year. I mean, if Middletown wins, Princeton drops, then, I mean, all of a sudden you have one of the biggest games in the GMC over the past couple of seasons. Both teams fighting for that conference. It's been Princeton the past couple of years.
Middletown hasn't had in a long time. It's been predominantly as Gibson gets in the end zone there after the loss of tackle there from Simmons. And it's been predominantly Coleraine in those early years. When we were younger, they were dominant, and then you kind of get into the Lakota West and Princeton era the last couple of seasons. But Middletown always been in that middle of the pack, similar to Mason. They've been kind of in the 3-4 area, and now this year they could possibly even break through and win the GMC if Oak Hills can get that upset.
Yeah, you talk about Coleraine a couple years ago. You go back and just see some of the guys on those rosters. I mean, you see Ivan Pace, Deshaun Pace, Dante Corleone, the Godfather, down at UC. And then, like you said, over the past couple of years, Middletown. Last year, Jeremiah Landers, who's their quarterback for the past few seasons, he kind of helped bring them up a little bit. And this year, you know, it seems like they've really found that spark that's helped elevate them that extra little bit that a lot of teams have trouble getting themselves over that hump. And Coach Jones, was hired in 2023, he's only been here a couple years. He's done a tremendous job of kind of rebranding this team a bit.
And what an impressive quarterback room you've had in the last couple of years. You mentioned Jeremiah Landers, but he kind of took the shine from Joseph Ward. Joseph Ward hasn't had a season he started besides this year. And then you're talking about a third guy in Justin Bourne, who's definitely capable of winning games, as we've seen so far today. The Comets down their biggest deficit of the season at 37-7 with 9 minutes remaining in the game. No D'Angelo Birch for the Comets. And you'd think going into this week that could be a possible problem on the offensive side, but it's been a different story so far. Wobbly kick goes out of bounds.
Very late flag.
I think he had some trouble getting out of his pocket a little bit. I kind of was waiting for him to throw it down there, and he kind of checked his pocket 3 times, whiffed on it the first couple. So the Comets will have the 30-yard line here. You can see Birch right over there on that far side. He's on that right side, still with the headset on. According to some teammates, he's still good to go for the rest of the season. You'd think next week, even the week after, with limited snaps because just of the quality of opponent. But you still need to get him in the reel of things because he's going to be your success and the way you win games.
Yeah, the last thing you need is a non-healthy D'Angelo Birch going into the playoffs. I think the Comets are going to take him very cautiously.
Now Alex Silly in the backfield. Talk about the guy. He was going to be QB1 before D'Angelo Birch transferred back over to Mason. And he's been really good on both sides of the ball. I mean, talk about a guy. Not often do you see a guy that it's really hard to be the quarterback and being a student athlete. I mean, so many things you have to know, so many things you have to remember. And then he just completely switches positions to wide receiver and does a really good job of it. And then even has a couple snaps on the defensive end. Has done everything for this Mason team, so it's a good thing to see him in his junior year getting some snaps here.
And the special teams, too.
Yeah.
Had that muff punt he recovered versus Springboro.
He'll look to throw here, and he will almost have Torian Wiggins just out of the fingertips. A good ball there from Silly, but just out of the fingertips of the speedy number 17.
And that's the first varsity throw that we've seen from Alex Silly. We saw him a lot last year in a couple of games where either the Comets were on the big side or the other team was, but it was all handoffs. So the first throw that we see from number 7, I mean, that was almost a dime to Torian Wiggins. There's just nice coverage there on the defensive side. But see what you got out of Silly.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. If Middletown got in the end zone last possession, which they did, it's kind of taking what you can get going into next week. And Alex Silly, maybe he is that guy because you have Alex Noggle, who is a really, really quality player, but you can use him as a running back receiver when Birch gets back, and you can kind of experiment him in those positions while you have Silly at this quarterback position in crunch time here. And kind of garbage time, you could call it. So now it'll be Wiggins with that design handoff, and it'll be about a gain of 2. There's 7 minutes remaining in the game. Middletown with 237 passing yards today. Mason's been at the bottom of the board when it comes to preventing the pass. The Comets will elect to punt here. Ryan Bentley has had his hands full today with multiple punts. He's taken over as the main guy since Birch has been out. Good snapping. Another good punt. has returned to about the 30-yard line. Dakota West up 55-0 right now in the fourth quarter against Sycamore. Oak Hills, we'll keep talking about, they still lead against Princeton in the third quarter. You'd think it's late in that third quarter with how we've been moving in this game, and already in the fourth quarter. You got to think they're late in that third quarter. So we'll see if the Highlanders can hold on.
Yeah, Princeton's not used to playing from behind. Team that only lost their first game, and that was to Moeller, the Crusaders.
It's a pretty good team to lose to if you're going to lose to anybody. But talk about Moeller's always been the top dog and team you want to beat, but Elder, I mean, talk about
new GCL team.
The number one team in the state, you could even say. I mean, obviously playing in the pit's going to be tough for Moeller, but you didn't think that Matt Ponatowski, the best player in the state, that he would struggle and only score 16 points against the Panthers. And we've been there to Elder. We got the chance to last year. We had a game. We got to call a game in that playoff atmosphere, and it was tough for the Comet team. They got a little bit of momentum with Kaiser Wilhelm, but Panthers shut it down after that. Just an experience at the high school level.
Yeah, Caden Estup, the quarterback for the Panthers, he's done a phenomenal job this year. You look at the stats for, as is likely going to be a hold there, but you look at the stats in the GCL, it's very different from the GMC. I mean, you got guys throwing for 300 yards a game, and there you see, I think Ponatowski about to break a Ohio record in passing yards. I mean, Estup, he's done a very solid job, and it's fun to see Elder, being up there towards the top.
And the GCL a lot different as well, because Elder, with that win against Moeller, they already clinched the GCL with how many teams they have. They have about 4 teams in each conference. So when you talk about how it's so much different than GMC, you got to fight for 10 weeks for your spot in the rankings. And Elder, obviously, they're going to have a target on their back after that win, but they already have the GCL clinched. And you got to think that was the number one goal going into the season. With you got St. X and you got all those teams in LaSalle that are going to be breathing down your neck throughout the season. 4 minutes left in the game. It's just going to be running out the clock, you'd think, here from Middletown. They're going to bring out the punt unit. Jake Kelling will be back there at about the 45-yard line.
And we look at implications of this. The Comets came into today with the 9 seed going into the playoffs. With it being week 8, we're talking playoffs, and with the new format at GMC, got a couple buys, and then the Comets, if they won today, it would have likely given them a much better shot of getting a home playoff game. But with the way it's come in, the Comets looks like once again for the third straight year, they'll likely be heading on the road. Like last year obviously it was Elder. 2 years ago it was Little Miami, and then that win over the 1 seed Milford, over the Milford Eagles a couple years ago there. And that one, the Comets, they had a nice
game.
They had a nice little run over there. I believe Kai Wolfolk, the one who recovered that into the end zone. It's even an SB Play of the Year winner that year. But it was freshman year for us, 3 years ago from the last time that we saw a home playoff game for the Comets. And we'll see how, obviously still nothing official. We'll see how the standings have to play out the rest of the way.
And Oak Hills with a field goal to tack on to their lead against Princeton. So now up 10 in the third quarter. A little bit insurance for the Highlanders. And I'm rooting for the Highlanders. You never want to have a clinch in week 9. You always want to have that game deciding. And looking at Middletown and comparing them to Princeton, I mean, 2 teams that are very evenly matched. 2 teams you could have a really good game. Being at Princeton, you could think Princeton has the edge, but at the same time, Middletown's got a lot of guys in this linebacker crew that can take down Zion Neal and the crew at Princeton. So what a game that would be if the Highlanders ended up winning. It would have to be a winner takes all in the GMC.
And we'll see with just a couple minutes left to go Hearing this, Alex Silly still in at quarterback for the Comets. He'll fake it to Wiggins. He'll keep it himself up the middle, and he's brought down immediately in the back. Not much going there for the junior quarterback. That makes it 2nd and long, but playoffs are always a fun time to think about. Last year, like we mentioned, the Comets having to go to Elder, play in the pit. Another big thank you to the guys at Elder for doing that pregame show. Isaac, you and Trevor were involved in that.
What an experience that was. I mean,
unfortunately, I was getting my wisdom teeth pulled that day. Wasn't able to make it.
Not a good day to get your wisdom teeth pulled out. I mean, talk about professional broadcast. See it with Lakota West, even Lakota East is starting to get into it now. With all the broadcasting crews we got, love to hang out with those guys. It's remaining in this game. Alex Silly still at the quarterback position. Cannon McBarry checking into the game at running back. Silly handoff to McBarry. McBarry trying to get to the outside, and the middies will take him down.
Braylon Bryant, 55. In there, look, minute 15 left. Isaac, we'll give a little preview. Stay tuned on the social media side. Next week's broadcast at Coleraine. Special guest broadcaster for that game. We'll leave it up to the viewer to decide who that may be. A little bit of fun going to the end of the season. The Comets will be forced to punt once again. This one not going to last much longer.
What a bomb there from Orion. I know a little about it, skipping his way up the field. I mean, a little too far for the Comps to do anything with it.
I mean, that ball was spotted at the 38. That's a 62-plus yard punt.
You could see off the foot he liked it a lot, and it was a perfect spot. You can tell the difference between a good punt and a bad punt. That was a really good one right there. Looks like it's going to be one more play. As they'll just call it there after the knee. The Comets take a big loss on their home turf against the Middletown Middies. They drop this one 37-7. I've been Isaac Varga alongside Daniel Panetti. Thank you, Trevor Rose, for directing today's game. James Frolich doing the camera down at the field. And thank you again to our sponsors, Reach Cabinets and Remodeling, located right here in Mason. Visit them online at reachcabinets.com or give Jerry a call at 513-260-2595. That's the final here at Dwyer Field. The Comets drop 37-7, and the record goes to 3-4.